Hi everybody, this is Pramita here, and as I promised, if you have seen my community post, I had promised that I will show you a video where I will be where I'm working on this journal. Now, this was an incomplete project that I had kept because I was working on this, and then I moved on to my vintage Christmas journal because I wanted to show that binding process and stuff like that. um, Also, I'm extremely sorry, I'm slow at getting back to comments. Eventually I'm going to catch up. So here what we have is a kind of 4 file folder sort of thing. So this looks like this. Now this is not embellished at all. This will get embellished along the way, but what I've done in the meantime was yeah, so I have sort of sorry, I've created 3 pieces. These are separate piece, and then I have joined them together. So this has 2 pockets. Just let me show you. This has 1 pocket over here, 1 pocket over here. This is a large side tuck sort of thing, and here we have two small pockets, like so. This one and this one. Okay, and there is space to put things in from the top also. So those are the 2 pockets, and on the front, here is a big pocket, and then you have 2 corner tuck sort of thing. Now these are all going to be embellished. They are going to be layered on. I'm going to put some images, and this time I'm working backwards because I'm going to make mini clusters, and then I'm just going to lay them down. That's it. So that's going to come in a later stage. Right now what I need to do is I need to create some journal cards, tags that would go inside this. Now I have not shown you the back part. Here I have a belly band sort of thing. This is not very wide, but I've made it out of scraps. Now another trick or another tip that I have for you people: if you have scraps and if you have a embossing folder, or even if you don't have Big Shot, or if you have just some embossing folder, you can do it with rolling pin. Many people do that. You can check that on YouTube. I have not done that. What I do is, when I have scraps, I'll show you just a second. Now when I have scraps, I just line them up on the embossing folder and then close them up and run it through my Cuttlebug, because I don't have Big Shot. So sorry. And here are the scraps. So some are tea stain, some vellum, some wax paper, all sorts of paper, and I keep them in this folder, and whenever I need them I can just dig into it and start layering things up when I'm doing collage. So there are different kinds of I don't have too many embossing folders, honestly, because in India crafty supplies like that are pretty expensive, and as I have confessed before, I have never been an album maker or a journal, scrapbooker or anything of that sort. I just started making journals, and then along the way I gathered skills. So I am basically a self-taught journal maker, as you can say. I do not have any background in scrapbooking or card making or any such skills. I'm totally newbie to all this. So I've learned and picked up things, and then I've tweaked it to suit my needs. And what I do is, when I have ample scraps, I just emboss them like this. And you can see, if I take these out, you'll see there are different kinds of scraps. Some are just scraps from printing papers, like this one was from Shabby Dabby Doodah, and this one was just some stenciled scrap that I had. This one, not this one, but yeah. So this is a cardstock scrap that I had. So lots of different kinds of papers, and This is your wax paper, and there are some vellum sheets also somewhere hidden. So like this, I just emboss them at one go. When I have a huge pile, I sort through them and then I just emboss them along the way, and they come in pretty handy when we're creating collage or creating backgrounds or anything of that sort. So what I did was I just layered some scraps and I added this label. This label is from Pink Monarch, and that's it. And I will be decorating or embellishing this. And now here is, sorry, this is a list of ephemera that I need to make. So this is an envelope. Actually, this is 4.5 inch, I guess. And what I did was I just glued it up, and then I cut open one of the sides so that I can put in some sort of a journal card in. And I have also kept the top open, so it is a top loading pocket as well as a side loading one, so you have benefits of two. And I created a window similar to the one that I've shown in my blue vintage journal. Instead of using vellum, I used some clear packaging. So if you have not watched that video, I will put a link to that in the description box. Go check it out. And in this case, since this was a smaller window, I used this washi tape as my way to draw the circle. I drew around it and then I cut open it. So you don't need to have a die cut machine or anything of that sort. You can do it yourself. If you want to do a rectangular one, you can do similarly. You can place a rectangular whatever you want, measured box, whatever, and then you can cut around it, or you can simply draw out a box and cut around it. Just use some clear packaging or acetate or vellum or whatever to give the window effect. You can even use some see-through tulle or lace or anything. So this is what we have. And now I need to make some journal cards. Now this time there's going to be a twist. I'm going to be making some journal cards bases from the book pages that we generally would not use in collages. We can just use them as bases. I have these kind of books. Now these are actually school books. Let me tell you honestly, these are school books, but the syllabus has changed, so this book is of no good use. So now I just don't have the heart to throw it away, and I am just using it up as bases for my journals. And the size is pretty good. I'm going to show you. So this is the list of ephemera that I need to make. So this is how I roll. When I'm working on a project, I just, even before I make, because I have this, I have this urge to make a lot of ephemera. I like ephemera. I use ephemera a lot. So I tend to make a ton of ephemera. But to control that habit, what I've done is I make the journal or prep the journal first a little bit. And then when I know that I might be requiring this much of ephemera, I just go with that. So I will be showing you how to make this kind of folio. This is folder. This is just made from book page. Trust me, there's a book page in between these two papers, and this turned out pretty sturdy. And if you have any problems with creating tabs, then you can simply add tabs by your tab punch, or if you have that the whale tail punch that everybody uses. I don't have that, and right now I don't have any intention of paying out a huge sum for that. So I have just drawn the tab sort of thing using the tab feature that a file folder has. So I've just placed it and just eyeballed it. So I have created this in such a way that when you close this, you will see 3 of the tabs lining up, 1, 2 and 3. So you can number these like your file folder thingies, but I've not done that yet. I've not reached to that part. Probably I will put some words or something, but not on all of these, so so that they don't look cluttered. So we're going to make some journal cards and tags using, you know, some book pages that we might not use in the journal itself. So let me show you the process. Also, what I've done is I have prepped, you know, the gathered up the pages, and this is the journal that would go in. So actually this will house a journal. So let me show you. This will be like this. Okay, so and this will close up, and this will close up, and this will be the journal. So so that's the plan basically. And now we're going to move on with the card making process. Now again, this cover has been made using some sturdy cardstock in between, and then I have lined this up with the papers that I've used, so that, you know, it sort of blends through the whole thing. It doesn't look it doesn't stand out too much, but of course this is going to have another some sort of embellishment of sorts. That might be a cluster, that might be some, I have not decided that yet. Only thing I have is I have gathered the papers, I have made the cover and the pocket, the side tuck sort of thing, and here is a variety of papers that would be inside. And inside, what I plan on doing is, this I had done way back. I had created a kind of folder with this trifold, you know. So probably I will create something like this, and when I reach to that point, I'm going to share how to create a fold out mini ephemera folder inside your journal. So you can do that. So I will, when things come to that stage, I will definitely give it, you know, I will show you. But right now we just need to make some ephemera pieces. So let me close this, close this for now. And the papers that I have used are mostly all of these are from Antique Papery, and unfortunately these papers are not available in her shop right now. You know, so if you're interested in buying from her shop, don't wait too much, just go and pick them up, because what Sherry does is she often retires the papers, and when she retires them, she gives them sometimes, you know, she gives them as bundle deals. They are very, very cheap at that point of time. So if you want to pick something up, don't wait, and just pick them up when you see them. So and these are pretty older collections, like I don't remember. So these are also some scraps and you know, some papers that I will not be using otherwise, but I have them here because I want to make some journal cards and tags out of these. So this is going to be another step to this, and now we're just going to use some book page. So let me start this. Okay, so this will be like a craft with me video, so you can so this is the book page. Okay, so what I'll do is either I can create a whole big piece and then cut it down, or I can cut it down initially and then I'm going to you know, start layering up. So let me see the measurement of this, because this is a pretty big pretty large sized book page. So let me see the measurements. Of course I'll have to trim this down a little bit. So 8 by 11, that's pretty big. That's like a letter size nearly. 8.5 by 11. So what I'll do is I'm just going to take this off and we'll start from there. So how is everybody doing? How's everybody's Christmas? So this is the first video you will see after Christmas, so I hope everybody is doing well. If you're new to my channel, then welcome, and if you have been a subscriber to my channel, then welcome back. And my name is Pramita, and I make handmade journals or junk journals. So let's divide this into 4 sections, okay? And then what we'll do is we will use each page separately, because this will have a single layer of papers, more than single layers. And then at the back I'm going to line this up with some backing paper, so either tea stained paper or whatever. I've not decided that yet. So let's do one thing. Let's just now it totally depends on the size of paper you are going for, or the size of the ephemera that you want. Now my ephemera pieces will be around 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. So I will trim this down again. I'm using this, but this is not very good at cutting things. I need to look for my paper cutter knife, because I think I have put that away somewhere. I'm not sure where. So now we have this side done, and now I'm going to trim this off. Okay, so now what we have is we have this 2 pieces, okay, and we're going to work. So probably I'm going to keep them double-sided, because this feels a little bit flimsy. So what I'll do is I'll just glue this up so that it's easy for me to work. So that's one. So this is another one. So you can use up book pages not only to make your other projects, but you can also use them up as making something like this. So what I'll do is, again, these 2 are done. And I'm just going to take this off. Okay, fold this. So this is, you won't be able to see anything of this basically, because it's going to be totally covered up. And this one I'm going to trim from here, so that we have 2 different kind of orientations. Okay, so this is what it is. And now I'm just going to glue this. If I want, I could have made it into a small book also, but I'm not going to go with that right away. So I already have these pages. These will be added, and we're going to work on these bases. And I will gather up some papers for collage, and I'll be back. So that's it. So we have these bases done, and yeah, I'm going to keep it this way. So this is another way of using up your unusable scraps, you can say. So I will be back after I've gathered up some papers so that I can work on the collage elements. So keep watching. Hi, so I'm back, and I have gathered up some paper pieces that I want to use, which again is sort of destashing scraps ideas, you can say. So these are some papers that I have left over from a previous project that I had done. And another thing I do usually is whenever I'm working on a project, I try to make foldery sort of pocket where I just stuff all the scraps that I have generated from that project. And then probably if something coordinating project comes up, which often does, I dig into that envelope or foldery pocket that I've done. This is just made from some paper bag, and I've just stitched it. If you want to see how I make these kind of things, I'll just give you a quick glimpse. This is very simple. You can just even glue them down. I just have a thing with my sewing machine, so I was sewing along a lot of things. So what I did was I just cut open the paper bag and I made this into an envelope of sorts, and I just stuffed, instead of scattering all the paper all around, I just stuffed them inside a pocket like this, so that I know whatever scraps I want coordinating to that project, I will be able to get that very quickly. So that is the idea behind making pouches like this. Now let's start off this. So I already have some scraps that I have chosen. Not this one. This one is not okay. So I already have these scraps, and I will be also showing you how I'm going to layer them up. So we're going to use one of the book pages. Now this was also another piece that we'll work on. So probably this will get extended, and I'm not sure whether this is going to be a 1-part, 2-part, or whatever, but I'll try and do the base part today. So this is just a scrap that I had. This is probably from DG and SVG Designs. She has newspaper, rose newspaper print or something of that sort, and I had used parts of that in a project, and this was just a scrap. So I can layer this up. I'm not going to glue everything down at first go, and I'm just going to see how things go. So we're going to create the bases first today, and then later on we're going to use the embellish them a little bit more. So I'm going to put this over here. Okay. This was also a scrap. I just wanted to keep this music sheet look scrap, so I have done that. I didn't throw away this piece, so it can be like this. So it's just layering things up, nothing else. And now again, as I said, I'm going to be using more scraps, and probably I'll use some embossed paper. Now as I said, I will, now the background is going to be very neutral, because this way it will have the opportunity of you can put anything down basically. So I'm going to be putting this, and then I'm not worried about this side. Probably I'll put an image or something, but if that bugs me a lot, then I can definitely tuck something in like this, but we'll see to that. So this is what I want right now. So I'm going to go with this. So probably at this end I'm going to take off a little bit. So I'm going to show you. Okay, so this is what I've done, and what I'll do is I'll just lightly dab sort of, not too much, because I don't want this to turn into a very grungy thing. So that's done. And regarding this one, I'll just go with this once. And now is the time when I'm going to start gluing things up. So I'm sure about this. I want this here. I'm sure about this. So let's start putting things down. So if you are not sure, then just put a little bit of glue and see how it looks, and quickly remove that if you're not happy with the look. And if you're happy with the look, then glue it nicely. So I'm going to put this because I want that tucked look, you know. I want that tucked kind of look. So I'm going to be adding like this. So I want this to be put down first. Okay. And I'm going to follow this line because that's, and this making of embossing scraps is a great idea. You can definitely give it a try and see. So I'm going to cover this part up a little bit with glue, and then I'm going to lay this down. Of course, I'm going to stitch all around. Okay, and I'm also going to glue these properly. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put something over here, which can be something neutral, something a little bit of color, not sure. So I'll probably go with some, take this off. So okay, so I can put this down. Okay, and I can just, okay, so I missed one part, that is the, you know, the this one, this part. So I can put it here if I so like. I can put it here. Okay, so this is how it's looking. And of course I can cover this up with something else that needs to be seen. I can do that later on. I don't need to do this right away. And okay, so now I'm going to take off all the extra bits and pieces that are poking through and keep them so that I can use them in some other base that I will be working on. So this is our base done, and if I want, then I can simply place this like so, or I'm going to turn this way because this already had a little bit of glue and I wanted to use this scrap. So so this is our first base done, and as you can see, it's pretty neutral. If you want to use it in your butterfly journal, you can do that. You can do it with any florals. You can make it into a steampunk one, whatever suits you. So I'm going to keep making these neutral bases, and I'll be back to show you how much I have completed. So we have completed this base, and I will be working on the other bases that I've created, but I'm going to speed up the process. So there's nothing much to say. If I have something to say, I'll put it in captions so that you will know what I mean to say. But mostly it's just layering up stuff, nothing else. So keep watching, don't skip any part, because this is going to be a sped up video. You won't be able to understand anything later on perhaps, but these are going to be our bases, and either I'm going to put some focal point, I'll show you how I do that, and some labels and some other fabrics, fibers, whatever words that will come way a little bit later than this. So let's create the bases first, and then I'm going to do the next step. So keep watching, don't skip any part, and yeah, so that's it. So I'm creating more bases. I like to keep things neutral, and you will see throughout the process I have tried my best to use up as much as scraps as possible. Even the tiny teeny ones, if they look interesting or if they have something interesting, I will definitely give them a go. and in this way we are going to create the bases. Now I will switch on the music and you'll see the rest. Frayed burlap is my current favorite, and I am using this just to give the white edges a kind of color. I don't want to grunge the pieces up a lot, so I'm just giving them a light dusting at the edges, and you can see the rest, and so it goes. This paper is from Antique Papery, this lady's image. Now, I'm not going to be using this image as such, but I wanted to use up that illustration of, the black and white kind of flower illustration. And so I'm just trying to blend it into the background and see how it looks. And I know it's going to look good because as I said again, if you're making a background, try to make it neutral so that it marries with whatever kit or whatever theme you're working on. So I just need to cover the tiny bit, and I'll be going forward with my embossed papers, which I love so much. And that's it. So that's done, and we basically managed to finish 3, and now we are down to the last one. you.